Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about 2 episodes of The Vampire Diaries. One is episode 720, titled Kill Them All, which premiered Friday, April 29, 2016, as well as episode 721, which was Requiem for a Dream, which premiered Friday, May 6, 2016 on the CW, and that one was directed by Paul Wesley, aka Stefan Salvatore. So guys, 2 episodes, so we're going to make it a bit longer, this video, hopefully, but let's get started with the 20-minute clock. And let's begin. So something new that we learned in these 2 episodes. 720 had one major story arc going on, as well as 3 sub-stories that I call them. So the first story dealt with the vampire hit list that Raina wanted completed in order for her to agree to save Bonnie's life. So we also see the blood pills working their way out of Bonnie's system. We see her inject herself with more of Raina's blood so that the armory could stay away, buying them more time to finish the hit list. But we see partnerships between Damon and Enzo, and then Stefan and Matt, and then Alaric and Caroline, as the 3 groups deal with different parts of the hit list. In the end, though, Damon makes a deal with the armory to shorten the workload, and it gets Raina to agree to pass on her last life to Bonnie. However, it's not just the past life, or the last life she passes on, it's also the burden that came with being the Phoenix Huntress, so now Bonnie is going to have the same urges and tendencies that Raina had for the last century or so. And before it could be reversed, Raina kills herself. So, sub-story plot number 1 was the vault, the armory vault. And like I said, Damon makes a deal with Alex from the armory to get the armory's reinforcements to help deal with the vampire hit list in exchange for Bonnie opening the vault. We see Bonnie visiting Virginia and having her reveal that the thing inside the vault takes away a person's compassion, their capacity to love, turning them into monsters. So that is why she doesn't want the vault open. However, because of Damon's deal, Bonnie opens the vault, yet they find Yvette is dead inside, yet some voice is pretending to be her, and that's what's been calling to Alex for the last 4 years. So while Bonnie opened the vault, though, she seals the whole armory up, trapping Alex and a whole bunch of armory members inside as well. So she essentially kept her promise to Virginia on not letting the thing in the vault out, essentially. Sub-story plot number 2 is Alaric and Caroline. We see Caroline back in the supernatural problems again, and but we also see that Caroline has some unresolved issues with Stefan, though she doesn't want to face him. Alaric, though, wants Caroline to get closure before they get married, because he doesn't want a repeat of his first and second marriage. However, Caroline does make the realization that their family needs to stop acting normal because they aren't normal. Alaric has a past like Indiana Jones, Caroline's a vampire, and their twins are siphon witches. There's nothing normal about them. So they seem to be on the same page in that sense. Sub-story number 3 is where Matt learns from Stefan just what really happened to Penny. And we see flashbacks through this story, and we actually see that it was Matt who accidentally killed Penny in the middle of the night while in the woods, thinking that there was vampires around him. And it was Stefan who compelled that memory away so that Matt wouldn't blame himself for her death. So there's that. Now, episode 721 deals with the aftermath of Raina giving her last life to Bonnie and turning her into the next Phoenix Huntress. So we see that that after the spell was done, Bonnie wasn't waking up. So the group was trying to figure out a way to get her to wake up. So they have 3 chances, and they're doing that by going into her head and trying to convince her to wake up and fight the Huntress tendencies, although Bonnie is keeping herself asleep so that she doesn't wake up and murder her friends. So we see Caroline trying, and she places them at Whitmore College, tries to get Bonnie to remember Caroline as the person she grew up with, not as the vampire. Doesn't really go so well. Bonnie managed to stake Caroline in the chest or in the shoulder, and in reality, though, a mark forms in that spot. So essentially, Stefan forces Caroline to run before Bonnie wakes up, because now a psychic connection has been formed between the 2 women because of that. even though Caroline refuses to run. But Stefan doesn't want Caroline to put her family in danger by returning to them. And he doesn't want her to be killed by Bonnie, since without the Phoenix Stone anymore, Bonnie's sole mission would be to kill any vampire she marks. Attempt number 2 is Enzo, and he places Bonnie back in high school. So we see cheerleader Bonnie again. Or he doesn't place her in high school. Bonnie chose to go back to high school as a cheerleader, to a time where vampires weren't introduced to her before she found out she was a witch and all that. But because of the Huntress rewiring her brain, hold on. Sorry about that. Because of the Huntress rewiring her brain, it's changing all her memories and twisting them in a sense and making them seem like they're vampires when there aren't vampires type thing. So Enzo, he tries to get Bonnie to concentrate on the memories that they form between them, because essentially Bonnie tolerated and then fell in love with a vampire, so he's trying to play off of that. And Bonnie tells him that she'd rather die than have her memories of his love of her be tarnished by the rewiring of this Huntress curse. But Enzo doesn't want her to die, so eventually a fight breaks out. She marks him, and he gets marked in reality. And Enzo tells Damon that they get bigger problems because Bonnie is fighting the urge to wake up and kill everybody, which is not what they were hoping for. But eventually in the episode, we find that Enzo's absence is because he's looking to a lead that could get them to save Bonnie by severing the link between her and the last everlasting who is inside the armory. So that seems to be their next mission in a sense. Attempt number 3, though, is done by Damon. And he gets the idea from Stefan that he has to take a different approach with Bonnie. So essentially when he goes in her head, he takes her back to the prison world where they used to hang out on the Gilbert household porch. And she thought she sees Elena in the window, or the silhouette of Elena. Instead, it's Damon who implanted the image. And he basically fuels every doubt Bonnie had, basically belittling her worth and saying that she's worth nothing, that Elena was the star, that Bonnie was always in Elena's shadow, stuff like that, saying that it's Bonnie's fault that Elena's not with them, everyone's suffering because Bonnie's alive while Elena's asleep, stuff like that, to the point that Bonnie's so furious with him that she rips his heart out in her head, which forces her to wake up. Therefore, Damon starts the chase, and eventually we see Bonnie going after Damon in the woods, and we see him again pull the same stunt, but this time telling her why he wants to save her, why he admires her, and why he looks up to her, and what he's trying to do is to save her. And in the end, though, Damon managed to get the help of Matt, who shot a few tranq darts into Bonnie, so saving Damon. But now Bonnie is on the loose again, and she's coming after them. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode? For 720, it has to be the fact that Matt actually killed Penny, who was his fiancée, though accidentally, but it was so surprising that it would come to that. For 721, what was surprising was how on the nose Damon's words were towards Bonnie, both the hateful ones and the loving ones. It was just surprising how far he took, but then again, to Damon, he's always blunt, he's always honest, even if it hurts. So it was surprising to see the two extremes in that spectrum in regards to his hate for her and then as well as his love for her. So it definitely shows a very thin line between the two right there. So moving on to top 3 favorite moments for episode 720. The first one has to be Damon's speech to Enzo about going to Bonnie and making sure she doesn't stop fighting. Enzo still wants to continue with the hunting the vampires down so that it brings him closer to have Raina agree, but Damon's telling Enzo to go with Bonnie like she asked, so that Damon could take care of getting what things need to be done for Raina. So I really like that Damon had that whole speech and everything like that. I definitely have to look it up again to refresh my memory of what it actually said, but I really like that. Another favorite I had was the dynamic between Alaric and Caroline. We actually got to finally see them and how they interact and see what works between the two of them, and I really like that we got to see that. And so there's that. And also I like the fact that Bonnie kept her promise to Virginia. I would hate for her to have to open that vault and everything got loose from in there. So I really like that she cleverly kept her promise. I thought she would seal the vault again after everybody went inside it, but no, she ended up sealing off the actual armory. Though now I think about it, she should have sealed off the vault after they all went inside it. Just saying. Now, for 721 though, my favorite moments were the Damon and Bonnie scenes. They're very intense in emotion, whether it was with the hateful words or whether it was with their loving declarations and stuff like that, with the tears and the regret and the forgiveness and like all this amped up emotion. I really like that between the two, whether they're hating each other, whether they're loving each other. It was fantastic. Ian and Kat did a fantastic job with that, and I'm glad to see how far they took it. So I really like that. Another favorite moment was the fact that Bonnie did not want her memories of Enzo and his love for her to be tarnished by the rewiring of the Phoenix Hunter's curse. I really like that. Even though it meant that Bonnie wanted to die instead of have that happening, it was great to see how much importance and how much value she had in those memories. So it was fantastic to see that as well. Last favorite moment also... Alright, I just had the little crap scared out of me. So last favorite moment was Alaric and Caroline. Again, because we actually got to see how much they cared for each other and how much, how they dealt with their situations. Like the fact that they're trying to figure out who should stay and who should go back home with the kids. While they both wanted to do both, Caroline wanted to stay for Bonnie, although she wanted to return to her kids, who she hasn't seen for 2 days. Alaric wanted to do the same thing. He wanted to go back to the twins, but he wanted to stay behind for Bonnie, knowing that he's the safest one out of the two of them to not be killed by Bonnie. So, it was their level of caring for towards each other was fantastic to see. Even in this episode, Alaric tells Caroline that you know that I love you, right? And although it was a little sad that she didn't repeat the same words, it was great to see on Alaric's side that he has actually grown to love her in the 3 years that they have been in their situation together. So it was great to see that as well. So moving on to top three peeved moments, for episode 720. Yeah, 720. First one was that Matt blames Stefan for Penny's death, even though he was the one that pulled the trigger. What pissed me off was the fact that it wasn't Stefan's fault. It was Matt who brought Penny into the world of vampires. So it's because he told her that truth, it's why she was out in the woods preparing to take on a vampire when she certainly shouldn't have. So I put all the blame on Matt, and it just pisses me off that they blame Stefan, because Stefan never really met Penny until that night. So it's like, if you're going to blame someone, blame yourself, Matt. Don't blame the vampire who just happened to be there, and the same vampire who happened to save your life repeatedly. I'm just saying. Next peeve moment I have is Alaric and Caroline, the fact that there were no I love yous between them in that episode. So I have no idea whether there were any, if it's just been marriage convenience, I guess you can say, or the situation of it being in that sense, or if they actually did care for each other. That is in episode 719, or 720. 721 kind of clarified a few things in that regard, but I'm just saying. Last peeve moment was the fact that I like being right. It just pisses me off that I was right about Raina turning Bonnie into the next Phoenix Huntress by passing her life on to Bonnie. I mean, I saw it coming from a mile away. It pisses me off that no other character saw that possibility happening. I mean, especially for Damon. He's pissed off that he didn't see that coming, and yet Damon was kind of the villain at the beginning of the series. He can think like a villain, so he knows how easily villains can turn their back on their words or switch things around into their favor. So I don't see how he didn't work out that possibility happening with Raina and just took her word on them saving them. It pisses me off for that. Now, a peeve I had for 720 though, or 721, was Bonnie knowing how to fight as the new Phoenix Huntress when she had no training whatsoever, like Raina had training before becoming the Huntress. I mean, sure, Bonnie's time as a cheerleader may help her to some extent, but in previous episodes we saw her struggling with how to handle a gun, and yet now as a Huntress she's a pro at all weaponry. It makes no sense. It doesn't add up, and it really pisses me off that it doesn't match. At least with Jeremy, when he became a Hunter of the Brotherhood, he had to train on how to fight a vampire. He had to train himself how to use a weapon. But with Bonnie, just snaps her fingers, she turns into the Huntress, and that's it. She knows everything she needs to know. While Raina, she's actually trained as a child to fight and to hunt vampires, and then she became the huntress. So it's just Bonnie's ability to know how to fight just does not add up, and that pisses me off so much that they just gave her that instant skill. It really does. So moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on these 2 episodes, it was the fact that Bonnie became Reina 2.0. She became the new Phoenix Huntress. So there's that. Random questions. First one, if Bonnie is the new Phoenix Huntress, can she still do magic? And 721, we actually see Bonnie in action as a huntress. We don't see her use magic at all. She uses her weapons instead, so it still has me wondering if she can still do magic, or now that she's huntress she can't do that whatsoever. So there's that. Next question, how many more times is Bonnie going to be on the verge of death only to have her turn into something else because of a new plan? Again, we saw that in season 4, season 5, she died only to be a ghost and then be brought back as the anchor to the other side. She died again from the other side, going to the prison world and then coming back as a stronger witch. And now she was on the verge of dying from the poison, only now coming back as a huntress. It's like, how many times does she have to go through that cycle? It's kind of getting repetitive. I mean, I like Bonnie, I don't want her to die, but it's like, how many times are you gonna take it to that extreme only to pull her back type thing? So moving on to predictions, based off the promo for 722, which is the season finale, we see the group getting inside the armory to get the last everlasting while invading whatever was inside the armory vault. And it also looks like Damon is inside that vault and he believes he sees Elena. Based off the synopsis for the finale, it looks like Stefan tells Caroline that her twins are needed to get inside the armory. It also looks like Enzo tries to distract Bonnie at their cabin, but things go sideways, leaving Damon to step in and make the ultimate sacrifice. I swear, if Damon's life is in the balance for another season finale, I'm gonna be pissed. The only season finale that his life wasn't in jeopardy was last year, and that was because it was Elena. In season 1, we had him almost burning in that fire with the rest of the 2 vampires. Season 2, we had that werewolf bite on him. Season 3, we had the possibility of... Sorry, where was I? Oh yeah, season 3 finale, Damon's life was on the line because of the fact that they were worried about Klaus being killed and they were part of his bloodline. Season 4, what was it for season 4? Oh yeah, season 4 had to deal with Silas, and yeah, Silas was the issue. Also, the whole werewolf toxic shots from Vaughn, the Brotherhood Hunter. Season 5, Damon actually died and went to the other side. Season 6 was the only time because it was Elena that actually had her life in jeopardy. And now season 7. So if Damon's life is in danger to the point that there is a good possibility that he's going to die, I am going to be very pissed off. Anyways, though, looks like the Siphon twins are going to suck Bonnie's barrier spell out of the armory from the looks of it. So we're going to just see how powerful 3-year-old twin girls are going to be. Also, I think that little tease moment where Damon thinks he sees Elena in the vault, I think that moment will be very similar to the reveal that we saw in episode 423 of when Silas revealed that he was actually Stefan's doppelganger. I think that might be the final moments of the finale, where we'll learn that what is actually inside the vault and why or how it's been sucking souls out of its victims. Now that I say sucking souls, I'm thinking of Amara from Supernatural, since as the darkness, she survives off of sucking the souls out of any living creature, and she's a biblical evil. So I'm wondering if we're going to see if whatever's inside the vault is something like that. Also, we haven't seen Tyler since he was shown in the flash forward in episode 702, so I wonder if we'll see him again. We know he's alive in the future, so which isn't right now, so we'll definitely have to see about that. We haven't heard anything about Jeremy in this future at all, so maybe we'll hear something about that from him. Hopefully he's still alive, because we have no idea if that's the case. But as a finale, I'm hoping to see more familiar faces. But that's about it. So what did you guys think of these 2 episodes? What did you guys like? What did you think could have been better? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want to check out my live journal account, I have full recaps of both these episodes there. It's more of a play-by-play of what happened in the episode, as well as my in-moment thoughts to it. So go check that out. Also, check out my Tumblr page. The links for these 2 episodes are down below in the description box. I usually reblog promos, sneak peeks, web clips, quotes, GIFs, anything like that. So go check that out. The 3rd link is also leading you to the master list tag for all Vampire Diaries related tags, as well as the original, so you can check that out as well. Follow me there if you like as well. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. So sorry for the delay, but work has just been crazy. But it's Mother's Day this weekend, so hopefully it's going to die down after this weekend for work. So you get a double whammy with this video. So yeah. So that's about it. I hope you tune in next week to see what I have to say about the season finale. But until then, this is Mel, wishing you a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.